Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, where we bring you fascinating stories to help you learn and improve your English. Today, we have a special story that's not just about language, it's about courage, resilience, and the power of self-discovery. In this story, you'll not only hear engaging vocabulary and phrases, but also learn how to express emotions, describe events, and build your fluency in English. So grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's dive into our story. When I was 14 years old, my mother made a life-changing decision. We left our crowded city home behind and moved to a quiet village nestled among lush green fields and winding dirt roads. Life in the village was vastly different from what I had known. The air smelled of fresh earth, the days began with the crow of roosters, and the pace of life was slow and steady. At first, I missed the noise and energy of the city, but gradually, I began to appreciate the simplicity of village life. We lived in a small house at the edge of the village. My mother worked hard to make it feel like home, and I did my best to help her. She spent her days working in a nearby farm while I attended the village school and took care of the household chores. Though life was simple, it wasn't without its challenges. As a teenager, adjusting to the village culture and unfamiliar faces wasn't easy. One day, my mother had to visit a neighboring village to check on a sick relative. I stayed home to look after the house and finish my schoolwork. The afternoon was quiet, with only the sound of birds chirping outside. While I was folding clothes, there was a knock at the door. It was our neighbor, an older man who often exchanged polite greetings with my mother. He said he had come to ask for help. He claimed he needed someone to help him carry some heavy items from his house. Though hesitant, I agreed, thinking it would be rude to refuse. As we walked to his home, I couldn't shake an uneasy feeling, but I convinced myself I was overthinking. When we arrived, his behavior became strange. He tried to keep me there longer than necessary, asking unnecessary questions and acting overly friendly. I felt uncomfortable but wasn't sure how to leave without seeming rude. Gradually, he put his hands on my back. He wanted his dick inside me. I was so nervous, and I couldn't manage to leave his home. Suddenly, I remembered what my mother had always told me. If something feels wrong, trust your instincts. Summoning courage, I made an excuse, saying I needed to return home because my mother would be back soon. I hurried back to the house, locking the door behind me. My heart was pounding, but I felt a sense of relief to be back in a safe space. When my mother returned that evening, I told her everything. She listened carefully, her face a mix of worrying and anger. She reassured me that I had done the right thing by leaving and promised to address the situation. The next day, my mother spoke to the village elders about the incident. They took the matter seriously and confronted the neighbor. Though the process was uncomfortable, it brought me a sense of closure. From that day on, my mother and I grew even closer. She taught me more about setting boundaries and standing up for myself. As time passed, I realized that the experience, though frightening, had taught me a lot about resilience and courage. It was a turning point in my life, shaping me into someone who could face challenges with strength and determination. Life in the village continued, and I found joy in the little things, learning to cook traditional dishes with my mother, playing with the neighborhood kids, and studying under the shade of an old mango tree. Though the incident remained a memory, it no longer defined me. Instead, it became a part of my story, a reminder of the strength I had found within myself.